I think life always is trying to testing us to see if we really want something. When you really want something, I think you really have to run after and work hard and never give up and believe that one day you get it. Sometimes it's really tough, and I had tough times, but you have to believe. That's what I advise everyone, because life is not easy for everyone. Some people have luck, some others have to work a little bit harder to get where they want.
Luciana lives and works in Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, the biggest country in South America. Brasilia was settled only half a century ago in the middle of a desert. Since then, it has grown into a metropolis of almost 2 million people. When Luciana came here to make her dreams come true, she had to start everything from scratch. Luciana works for the Brazilian Paralympics Committee. She is responsible for relations with the committee's partners and sponsors, as well as with the media. Luciana's education, obtained in Brazil and on the Erasmus Mundus Master's Programme in Adapted Physical Activity, as well as her pro-social attitude, proved to be of great value for the position she occupies now.
She's a multi-talented person, and I think that maybe her studies in Europe raised her profile to this level. So she had an internship in the International Paralympic Committee. Then suddenly I received her CV, and it was very surprised, because I didn't know that there was a Brazilian student in Europe involved in adapted physical education and working in the International Paralympic Committee headquarters.
Before Luca took the plunge, she was raised in Tucunduva, a small town near the border with Argentina. It is a picturesque town located in Rio Grande do Sul, one of the most affluent regions of Brazil. It was settled by immigrants from Europe who created a cultural melting pot, typical for this part of so large and diverse a country as Brazil.
We all Brazil, that we maybe say Brazil is only carnival or soccer or beautiful women, but it's not true. We have here in South Brazil is a different culture. It's from Europe, and we thanks to have opportunity. I am Italian, and then we see as well the German ones, and we are from Spanish, Portugal, and that will become our culture.
Most of the people who live here today are descendants of immigrants from Italy, Germany and Poland. They cultivate their traditions whenever they meet, during important anniversaries and regional holidays. One of these traditions is dance, through which they express their identity. It is also a way of cultural integration.
I had many dreams, and one of them was to be a dancer as well. The day I was born, it was Carnival. It was a Saturday, and it was Carnival, so I always told my mom that I was born dancing already. That's why dance is another of my passions today.
In this school, which she attended, Luca began dreaming of her great future.
When I was a child, from 1st to 4th grade, all I wanted to do was to study and play with my friends. When I entered in the 5th grade, we started to have foreign language, for instance, English. And I always was really interested in learning English. And learning English taught me that one day maybe I could go abroad.
Luciana sempre foi uma menina muito dedicada.
Luciana was a very active girl. I was her teacher, and her class was very noisy, but very productive. In her classroom, the grades were generally high. A strong class, very clever. At home, she was always playing. Those trees at the front that I planted myself, she and her brother used to climb them and get dirty. So she always got involved with these voluntary jobs, and this must have brought her back a lot, because with them grew her leadership spirit. She was always busy. I was always telling her to drop something to have more time. She was learning English, computers, dancing, volleyball, Leo Club, and she was always running around to cope with all that. So sometimes she spent the whole night busy, but I think it all added to her.
After trying to find out how to go abroad, I was departing to go study in the United States for 1 year to learn English and to have this wonderful cultural experience. It was one of the greatest times of my life until I spent 1 year in Europe.
Luca started studying at the Federal University of Santa Maria. At the same time, she began working with disabled people, and she learned something that shaped her future life, that sport is a great tool for helping others.
My whole life I enjoy helping people and especially working with the minorities. I've been always involved also with sports. This is the reason I thought this was a good way. I think physical activity, you express yourself through your movements with your body, and you can bring minorities to join other groups and make them included in society. So I think that's why I managed to gather this both.
We have one of the best graduation programs in our country, and we had one of the best postgraduate programs in Brazil.
Mestrado e doutorado do Brasil. Mas o que faz a diferença não é só a universidade, é quem vem buscar.
What makes the difference is not what is offered, but what is being looked for. And this is one of her traits, because she came and worked hard, never waiting for things to fall from the sky. And all that she got, she earned with effort and sacrifice. And now she is picking the fruit.
Isso tudo é fruto de muito empenho, né? Muita dedicação, e agora é o resultado de tudo isso.
One of Luca's best friends was Tatiana. They still keep in touch. It is typical of Luca that she maintains close relations with her friends, even if, as is often the case in Brazil, a great distance separates them.
Ela sempre dizia, porque eu quero estudar fora, quero fazer o mestrado fora.
She always said that she wanted to study abroad, and from the beginning of our course together, I too wanted to.
Semestre, se eu não me engano, dela sempre falando que fora, eu também tinha um sonho de querer estudar fora. Só que as oportunidades.
But the opportunities came and she grabbed them. And I know who is behind that too. Her parents, who are lovely people and supported her all the way.
São pessoas maravilhosas também.
Thanks to her hard-working and ambitious character, Luca got the chance to study in Europe under the Erasmus Mundus program. She began her studies in Belgium at the Catholic University of Leuven, where she enrolled in the Adapted Physical Activity program.
It was really tough at the beginning because there were so many things to learn in such a short time. So we would have classes in the morning, in the afternoons, and study the articles and read papers at night. And after 1.5 months, I chose the module that I would have to go to Norway.
Luca achieved a narrow specialization, learned English and Spanish, studied sports, and worked with the mentally and physically disabled. Finally, she worked for the International Paralympics Committee in Bonn in the area of marketing and fundraising.
After spending a wonderful year in Europe, it was a difficult decision to why leave Europe, why to come back to Brazil where we have so much poverty, where we have corruption, where things are difficult. So it was really a tough time for me. So yeah, I came back to Brazil. I returned November after my internship in Germany.
After returning to Brazil, she couldn't find a job, and for a well-qualified person like Luca, this was a great disappointment. But then she got a job with the Brazilian Paralympic Committee.
I couldn't believe. I thought the job was created for me because they needed someone to work with marketing and international relations. And my whole experience in the International Paralympic Committee was with marketing and fundraising. And all the relations that I had with my friends, I had a good networking from several different countries. So I was really surprised that this job totally fit with my profile.
The BPC is a very prestigious organisation that deals with organising Olympic Games, preparing national teams, and arranging sponsorship and media service. We used sport to promote them, and without doubt, sport is one of, if not the biggest, a very effective tool, highly qualified to the social inclusion of those people with disabilities, because sport gives quality of life, credibility, and above all, it makes people believe they can reach higher and achieve more than they thought they could imagine. So, Paralympic sport in Brazil has reached a very high level, and we believe in our credibility nationally and internationally. Luca knows well how to combine passion and hobbies with the need to continually acquire new qualifications. Her Erasmus Mundus studies in Europe changed her life. Now it is time for her to face other challenges.
If not for the rest of my life, for a long time, I see myself working with the Paralympic movement, because it's something really great when you can see people with disability getting out of their houses and mingle with other athletes and facing so many difficulties that they have during their daily lives, and you see them happy and they give you such a good example of how to face life.